Today I'm going to be checking out this lithium iron phosphate battery. It was sent to me at no cost so I could do this review. Let's take it out of the box, see what it comes with, test it out. All right, here it is out of the box. It was packaged actually pretty well inside of there with foam and everything. It comes with the manual that's going to go over all the specs and everything and, basically how you can hook this battery up. Now, the terminal bolts are already in here, and they also come with these little caps here. I like these little caps, mainly because when you tighten down the lugs and you get your wire and everything in there, these little plastic insulators will help you reduce the chance of arcing or anything like that if you accidentally ground it or whatever you're doing. So it also has this nylon handle that's already in it, which is nice, and it's removable. You can basically come in here and twist this up a little bit, and these remove out the sides. It also has little grab sections here, so if you want to grab the battery and lift it out, it's not smooth like it is here. It's basically got some grab handles here. So either way you go, if you want to lift it with this or if you want to lift it on its sides, it does have those handles, which makes it nice and easy to deal with. So I'm going to get this thing charged up. Then we're going to test it out, see if we get all the capacity that we're expecting out of it. I do plan on using this actually with a trolling motor that's on our smaller aluminum boat. We have a 55-pound thrust trolling motor, and the specs on that trolling motor is its max ampage is 50 amps. So that should be well within the range of this battery, and it should give me 100 amp hours of power. So that's really good. The current battery that I have in there right now is just a regular wet battery. It's a lead acid battery, and you only get about really half of what they rate those at, because after that you start really deteriorating the battery. So if you have a lead acid battery and it says it's 100 amp hours, well, it's really not 100 amp hours for one, unless you drain it all the way down to the lowest point that it can go. You usually get about half of that out of those. These, you should be able to get the full 100 amp hours out of these batteries, which, I think at 12.8 comes out to like 1280 watt hours. And that's really what we're looking at, right? Watt hours more than all of the other specs. So I'm just going to make sure we can get it, and I'm going to charge this up and we're going to test it. All right, so I've got the battery now all charged up and ready to test. I'm going to go ahead and hook this battery up to a power inverter, and we're going to hook up a 8,000 BTU portable air conditioner to this. I have a 2,000 watt pure sine wave inverter hooked up to this battery, and this is what I'm going to use to run the 8,000 BTU AC unit. The AC unit is only on here to put a load on this battery and this inverter. This is the battery monitor. It's not monitoring the inverter. It's actually just monitoring the power coming out of this battery using that shunt that's back there in the back. This is not an expensive battery monitor, but it's good enough for the test that I'm doing. And then of course I've got it all cabled up to the battery. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. I'm going to go ahead and turn the inverter on. This is the key here to watch to see what's going through this. Fans and everything kicking on. Now the air conditioner got power and it's kicking on. All right, so the AC unit just kicked on. It spiked. I didn't quite catch it on there, but it might be on the video. But it did spike up. I heard the compressor motor kick on. The inverter is also running its fans, because once it gets a certain percentage of load, it's going to kick on its fans to keep it cool. 400 watts is not something that's stressing this inverter, so it's going to drop back down. But right now we're at about 430 watts, which is putting about a 35 amp load on this battery, which is nowhere near its peak or its continuous. It did peak out. The thing to note here is that when the air conditioner did kick on, it peaks out this inverter, which then of course sends the load to this battery, and the battery was able to handle that. So when I can catch it on the battery monitor, I have seen this compressor in this AC unit kick all the way up to 2.5 kilowatts of power, which is beyond the specs on this inverter and well beyond the specs on this battery, but it still was able to handle it with no problem. I have definitely had batteries that can't handle that peak. So that's already done one thing well. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video out here. This is gonna take a while. We'll probably get 2 hours-ish, maybe more, out of this battery with this running. So as it starts getting lower, I'll pick up the video from there, and we're gonna see just how many amp hours we can get out of this battery.
2 hours later.
All right, so it's definitely getting, toward the end. It's at 10.8. It's already kicked out 103 amp hours. And what's significant about that is, this thing has mostly been running at about a 50 amp load. Now, right now, it's pretty cold in this room, and the AC just has the fan running, but it's been mostly running at a 50 amp load. And there it went. All right, so let me turn that off. Okay, so basically what that was is the air conditioner was probably just kicking on the compressor again. And since we're pretty low on power, the inverter just said, that's it. I'm not giving you any more because the voltage is so low. So the battery is at 10.9 volts. So this is basically where I would say that's it. This is what we're getting out of it. And it's actually, like I said, it's pretty impressive. It's 103 amp hours, 1.3 kilowatts. That's pretty good for a 100 amp hour battery. It's got 10.9 volts, so it didn't kick off the BMS, because if the BMS turned it off, this would have went blank. But the inverter is basically what kicked it off, and that's why it faulted, because it detected low voltage. So it does look like in the manual that its max discharging voltage is 10.8 volts. So this was just almost there for the BMS to kick it off. So it gave me everything that I would expect from it, even a little bit more. It peaked out well. So like I said, I'm putting this as a trolling motor. So this thing is probably about a third of the weight of the lead acid battery that I have in there now. So not only is it going to be lighter, and it's going to hold more power in this battery, and you can use it over and over and over again. So normally I would be looking at replacing the trolling motor battery every 2 to 3 years. But this one, the way it's performing now and the way that it has 4,000 cycles at 100% DLD, I mean, this is probably going to stay in that boat for 10 years or more and still perform way better than that one battery did. Of course, only time will tell, but it definitely gets a thumbs up from me. And I hope this review was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care.